Who's going to make way for Rohit and Warner in this third test match at the SCG? Let's find out on Hoggs Vlog. Well, both teams have been a little fragile in their batting lineup, so they're keen to get the big draw cards of Warner and Rohit back into the series. So, Warner, coming back with a groin injury, they say he can't field out 100%, huge risk. ROHIT Sharma, hamstring problem, been sitting in quarantine for 2 weeks. Well, that's a big risk as well. So both players are going to be under stress for a 5-day game. So hopefully they don't redo the injuries and they put on a good display of entertainment. So the third test match, let's go through the Indian lineup first. What changes they have to make? Yadav out with injury, so they've got to find a new bowler. Are they going to go with Thakur? A little bit of variety in the air, bowls around about 130, can move it both ways. Or Natarajan, left arm, little change of angle, pushing it away from the right-handers. Or are they going to go with Saini with the extra pace? Now, the way that Siraj bowled in that first test match, he showed that he can bowl a good line and length. I would go with Saini with the extra pace. Then you've got someone, because you've got 5 bowlers in your lineup, that can change it up with some short pitch bowling out the likes of Labuschagne and Steve Smith, who have been troubled with the short ball. That's only if they get going and in their innings. So you've got a few options there. Now with Rohit Sharma, who's he going to replace? Is he going to replace Agarwal at the top of the order or Vihari in the middle order? Agarwal, I think he's safe. The reason being is because Rohit Sharma has got that issue over in Australia where there's a little bit of extra bounce and movement away. He plays away from his body and he's a bit like Prithvi Shaw, and he's just going to feed those flips early on in the innings with the new ball. So for me, I'd bat him down the order over here in Australia, and hopefully the top order have worn the Australian bowlers out and he can come out and just play with absolute freedom. So Vihari for me is out the door. Now going into this test match, there are one little negative for them, Shami not playing. He's the best fast bowler that India have had out the SCG. He's dominated on this arena, so he is going to be missed. But the positives, Pant and Pujara have made hundreds here last time they were here and they annihilated the Australian attack. The Australian bowlers haven't done well at the SCG against this Indian batting lineup, so that is a huge plus for them. Ajinkya Rahane, his leadership while Virat Kohli isn't there, has been sensational. He's got good strategy and he keeps it nice and calm. So the boys are right behind him. Now let's go to the Australian lineup. Really, the only changes they've got to make is finding 2 new openers. I think Wade, yes, they would like to keep him opening with Warner, but I think Head has been a little bit out of sorts down the lower order, so Wade's got to go back down there. And they've got to have Pucovski or Harris come in and open with David Warner. I'd go with Harris because Pucovski has got had those concussion injuries, and the Indians will be after him on the back foot, so they'll be trying to see if he's a little tentative there. So if he's tentative, he's going to be found wanting. So I'd leave the youngster out for his debut, make him go back to first class cricket and find his feet again, and go with the experience of Harris to open with Warner. Now the Australians, for me, I'm happy with their bowling. They have been sensational, but their fielding let them down in the last test match, so they've got to pick up there, and their batsmen have got to find their feet. So for me, going into this test match, looking at the stats over previous years, 50% of the time out the SCG these two teams have played, it's a draw. 42% Australia have won, India have only won 1 game. But I think it's going to be a close contest here. I think this series is going to be 2-2. We're going to go off to Brisbane and Australia are going to beat India there. So what does that leave me? I think you know who I've picked this test match. India might just get over the top of Australia because their bowlers have just been slightly a little bit more precise on their line and lengths and pressurise the Australian batsmen a little more than the Australian bowlers pressurise the Indian batsmen. Anyway, if you like what I'm saying, you know what to do. Get your mates on board and we'll have a little discussion through the test match to see how it's going. Enjoy. I'll see you soon.